Kaieteur Radio.
Aurora and Essequibo 99.1 FM.
Burbies 99.5 FM. Kaieteur Radio.
Hello, thank you for tuning in to Kaieteur Radio. I'm Kevin Smith. Welcome to your news at noon. These are the top stories we're tracking. IDB notes growing concern country may fall victim to Dutch disease and cautions against becoming reliant on fossil fuels. Enhanced oversight for oil operators exploration program, says Minister Barrett, and Housing Ministry to build 4-lane highway from Eccles to Diamond. Liza 2 FPSO on its way as Exxon finds more oil offshore. Advocacy group created to give citizens a voice on national stage, and family in search of Guyanese man who went missing 2 years ago. Stay tuned to stay informed.
Hey, you! Going out? Want all your favorite radio stations on the go? Listen up and let's go. Anytime and anywhere. All your favorite radio stations are in one place. Listen wherever you go, anywhere, anytime. You can even listen without Wi-Fi with Go Loud on a Digicel Prime bundle. Talk, music, news, whatever you want. On the go, Go Loud. Go Loud gives you all your local radio in the palm of your hand. Go out in style. On the go, Go Loud. Download today.
And now for the news in detail. The current proven reserves in the Stabroek Block, which total over 9 billion barrels of oil equivalent resources, along with the string of recent discoveries, will no doubt produce changes in Guyana's overall economic structure. One of the most immediate effects will be the increase in the country's gross domestic product, its GDP. But an increase in GDP does not translate to higher standards of living for citizens, who are the true owners of the oil wealth. In light of this irrefutable fact, the Inter-American Development Bank, the IDB, recently urged Guyana to place greater focus on ensuring the oil wealth leads to economic transformation and not the mere doubling of GDP. The financial institution said that the impact of the additional revenue on a country with a GDP of $3.5 billion and a population of 773,000 needs to be carefully managed so as to promote inclusive, sustainable growth that benefits the Guyanese people. In other news, Guyana's second oil vessel, the Liza Unity, has set sail from the Keppel shipyard in Singapore, destined for hookup with the Liza 2 development in the Stabroek Block. This even as ExxonMobil announces still more discoveries in the prolific concession. ExxonMobil made the announcement yesterday, confirming that it had a discovery at Paintail Prospect, its 20th to date, encountering some 220 feet of net pay in high-quality hydrocarbon-bearing sandstone reservoirs. The news also comes on the heels of the recently announced discovery at the pay in deeper reservoirs encountered at the Whiptail discovery. According to Minister of Natural Resources Vikram Bharat, the government remains committed and persistent in engaging all stakeholders towards the beneficial development of these resources for all Guyanese in a sustainable and responsible manner. Meanwhile, the government has promised to increase its oversight of oil operators and their oil exploration programs offshore Guyana in light of the new discoveries announced by ESSO. So said Minister Vikram Bharat. He went on to say that while the government welcomes these new discoveries offshore Guyana, it remains committed to the sustainable exploration and development of Guyana's oil and gas resources. And moving on, the Central Housing and Planning Authority of the Ministry of Housing and Water is looking for contractors to execute the construction of a brand new 4-lane highway connecting Eccles and Great Diamond on the east bank of Demerara. The ministry has since invited bidders to submit proposals for the new multi-billion-dollar roadway, which has been divided into 2 sub-lots. That should be 12 sub-lots. According to the ministry, contracts will be awarded to the lowest evaluated qualified bidder, and that only 1 lot will be awarded to any bidder in a project area. It was noted nonetheless that the bidder may be considered for an award of more than one lot, provided that the bidder has shown sufficient equipment capacity, financial capacity, and human resource capacity in order to execute simultaneous projects. Potential bidders are being asked to provide bid security of up to $1 billion and at minimum $500 million. And now let's tell you, a number of civil society organizations and individuals have come together to create the nation's latest advocacy group, Article 13, aimed at ensuring that the people of Guyana are represented and heard at all levels in debating Guyana's development and in achieving a thriving and sustainable society. This through advocating for good, transparent, accountable, and responsible governance, as well as identifying and proposing solutions which advance our country and our people. The grouping has since pledged to work with all Guyanese in the securing of inclusionary democracy, good governance, and a better future for all. You're listening to Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and of course 99.5 FM. This is your news at noon. We will return after the break.
Guyana, please join me on the Glenn Lal Show, 99.1, 99.5 FM, Kaieteur Radio, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 7:20 p.m., and a rebroadcast of the next day at 11 a.m., just in case you missed that program.
This is GHK Lal inviting you to join me weekdays from Monday to Friday on the National Outlook for commentary on a range of issues. Immediately after the 12 noon and 7 p.m. newscasts on Kaieteur Radio at 99.1 FM and 99.5 FM. Looking forward to you sharing in the conversation.
Welcome back. Let us continue with the news. Relatives of a Guyanese man who reportedly went missing in Venezuela 2 years ago are currently doing all they can to find him. The missing man has been identified as 31-year-old Ijaz Mohammed. Mohammed's family members live in Guyana, but he had reportedly moved to San Felix, Venezuela in 2015. Some family members who were residing there with him had returned to Guyana. Mohammed had stayed in contact with his relatives via phone. However, 2 years ago, they lost track of his whereabouts. His sister, Bibi Mohammed Shazina, recently contacted a journalist in Venezuela and the authorities there for assistance in locating him because they're beginning to fear the worst. Despite their fears, his family members are still living with the hope that he might still be alive. The last time Shazina heard from her brother was a few days before he had disappeared. He had reportedly contacted her via phone and notified her that he was traveling to Valencia, located in the state of Carabobo in Venezuela. And moving on, 5 Bostonian men were on Tuesday evening robbed at gunpoint by 6 armed motorcycle bandits at an Ital food shop. According to a police report, the incident happened at the shop located on the Annandale Railway embankment on the east coast of Demerara around 22 hours 20. It was stated that the 5 men were watching television and playing a game of cards in the Ital food shop when they were approached by 6 unidentifiable men. The 6 suspects, in addition to an unidentifiable female who remained on one of the motorcycles, came from an unknown direction. During the confrontation with the bandits, the victims were held at gunpoint as they were relieved of their phones and cash. The bandits then fled the scene on their bikes in a western direction, after which checks were made for the suspects, but they were not seen. And moving on, the Catholic Church has closed its doors in an act of solidarity with its members who are unvaccinated. According to a statement issued by the Catholic Bishop of Guyana, Reverend Francis Allen, all Catholic churches will be closed from today, September 10th. The statement outlined that the decision followed the most recent gazetted order in relation to the COVID-19 pandemic, which stipulates that persons accessing public buildings, including places of worship, need to show proof of vaccination or a negative PCR test. The statement said further that all Catholic churches will be closed for public worship until further notice. In the meantime, the release outlined that the severe threat of the pandemic and the increasing numbers of infections and deaths warrants strong measures. And I always tell you, yesterday the Ministry of Health announced that 2 more persons who tested positive for COVID-19 have died on Wednesday while receiving treatment at a medical facility. As a result of this, the country's COVID-19 death toll has moved to 659. According to the ministry, the latest fatalities are that of a 69-year-old man and a 41-year-old woman, both from Region 4. 240 new cases were recorded, bringing the total number of confirmed cases in the country to 27,301. Presently, there are 36 patients in the COVID-19 ICU, 128 in institutional isolation, 2,504 in home isolation, and 9 in institutional quarantine. To date, a total of 23,974 persons who tested positive for the virus have recovered. The time has now moved on to 12 hours 36. Time for your the page 7 of the Kaieteur News, dedicated to being blunt, followed by the National Outlook with GHK Lal and a short presentation from the publisher of the Kaieteur News, Mr. Glenn Lal. The AG is making the rounds about modernizing Guyana's oil laws and seeking an international law firm to provide us with guidance. AG Nandlal, please pick the right people. Please select a law firm that doesn't turn out to have people like Alison Redford and David Warner. Pick a firm without any Exxon connection and with a rep for clean and fair dealings. An aggressive firm to give us aggressive laws. Attorney General Nandlal, pick a firm that will do justice by us and for us. Kevin Smith for Kaieteur Radio.
Want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your ads on Kaieteur Radio's news.